Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's good to be back after a long weekend and appreciate everybody's kind words of my traveling because it was a nightmare just in the end. But hey, we're back. Better than ever. Postseason's here. It's Monday. We got a lot of great vibes going on, and I'm just hoping I don't ruin them by me being back in Arkansas. But fellas, how was the weekend, and how are the vibes here on this Monday afternoon?
The weekend was great, John. The vibes are, immaculate right now, and you're only bringing things up. All right, don't do that to yourself, man. We're happy you're back here. We're together again. If I could think of a song to sing to, just kind of give us a feel for what this moment is like, I would. That's more of Andrew's thing, but we're happy that you're back, buddy.
I'm afraid to admit that I was kind of borderline thinking, because there's a lot of songs that say or mention or maybe even centered around the term welcome back. And so I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, should I go song here? No, I'm not going to do it. I decided to play it cool, and that's what I'm going to do. But we are happy to have you back, John. We're also happy because Razorback athletics are continuing to go through the moon. Baseball's playing as we speak. So I'm going to be maybe shouting baseball updates periodically throughout this show. It's just kind of part of it. But I'm excited for the show, excited for tonight, excited for everything going on in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. Yeah, baseball on a Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. I mean, who says no to that? You got that going on, and we'll keep you updated on everything there. And of course, look at the weekend. And it's just crazy because, when I was down there in Cabo, I was following along. I missed the Texas and Missouri game as far as the full length of the game, but watched the highlights, kept up with them and everything. And the Hogs went 2-0. It's hard to really have any issues with that, especially in the way that you did it. But now it's like, okay, regular season's over with. You got at minimum 2 games left of this season, and let's hope it's a lot more than that. But you got to get everything going. And I know Bracketology is really going to be revving up. And I mean, you went 23-8, 13-5 in SEC play. It's just I know you guys talked about it and recapped it, and Curtis, especially in your report card and everything. But it's like, man, just looking at the regular season. I know postseason's where it's make or break, but like just looking at the regular season, like, that was fun. That was great. I enjoyed that. It was nice to have a team that had high expectations that kind of lived up to the billing. I believe that the AP poll that just came out, like you retweeted, Curtis, Arkansas 17th. So it's just nice to have that happen where it feels like it's been a few years since you've actually had the regular season become an enjoyable and successful one. And I can't be mad about any of that, especially with Arkansas and what they accomplished so far this year.
Yeah, man, way less stressful than the last couple years that we did this, wondering, are they going to get in by the skin of their teeth? Do they have to win this game? Boy, if they win Wednesday Sadness, what is that going to look like? Is that going to help them? It's been crazy. And, yeah, man, I think they just met expectations in the regular season. Now, there are higher expectations going into the postseason, so we'll see. The jury's still out on the big picture here. But, I think they started the year, what were they, 16th in the AP poll, I think, in the preseason, and they're 17th now. So kind of right in line with where they were. They stayed ranked the entire year. Even Eric Musselman's best teams, they would have that January lull or whatever it was where they would fall out of the rankings, and we would still be doing a thing at some point in late January. We're like, dang, man, they're on the bubble. What's going on here? And then they crank it up, and they wind up getting a 4 seed and a 3 seed or whatever. But none of that this year. And it's kind of funny because the narrative with this team for a majority of the season has been like, well, gosh, they're inconsistent, and there are games that we certainly wish we could have back and ones that we felt like they should have won that they didn't. But at the end of the day, this team has pretty much done exactly what people expected them to do, and they're in a great spot here going into postseason play. I'm very pleased with the Pig, man. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to argue for you that this is the most consistent and reliable team of all time, but they're a lot closer to being that than they are to being like this problematic boomer bust squad that you got to just worry about every game. It's really not that often that we have a Razorback team that lives up to the expectations when those expectations are high. I think Mike Anderson was always good about, being picked 10th in the league and finishing 6th, or being picked 8th and finishing 7th or whatever. But it's very rare that you have a Razorback team that is preseason top 20 and they really actually end up being top 20. It's also rare that you have a 5-star talent that comes to your program and actually lives up to that billing. And I would argue Arkansas has 2 of those guys in the same year. So it's pretty remarkable from an individual player standpoint, from a team standpoint. I also think in the regular season, you want to accomplish two things. You want to win enough games to put yourself in a good spot, but you also want to feel good enough about your team coming out of it that you think they can go on a run. And last year, I thought Arkansas checked one of those two boxes, because we did kind of feel coming out of the regular season what the way that Arkansas was playing down the stretch. We thought, okay, this didn't go great. Our record's kind of ugly, but this team is dangerous. This year, I feel like the team is dangerous, and we've got the wins to show for it. You've got the SEC seeding to show for it. This has been, in my opinion, the best regular season, most effective regular season Arkansas has had in this little modern era of basketball, which includes all of those most years.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it, we're getting 13 SEC wins. I know it's an 18-game schedule, so it's hard to compare it to where it was previously a 16-game schedule, but it doesn't matter. Like 13 wins, 5 losses, that's incredible. Like you're getting the double bye. And I think that most people, at least I would hope, most Razorback fans before the year started, it's like, hey, by the way, you're going to finish the regular season ranked 17th. You're going to have a 13-5 SEC record, and you're going to be the 3 seed in the SEC tournament. I think everybody would sign up for that. And you may have mentioned it, Curtis. I don't remember what Arkansas was picked in the SEC as far as preseason.
5th.
Okay, so hey, you went up. So I mean, you can't be mad about it. You can't really be upset about anything when it comes to that. But it's just fun to see what this team has done and see the different ways that they've won. It's not been perfect by any stretch, but knowing how difficult it is, I think the only blemish legitimate blemish, you would like to win every game, but legitimate blemish is maybe, that losing that Kentucky game at home, like that sucked. Like that wasn't fun. But hey, you're still in great shape. I know we're going to get into some bracketology and everything too, but since we mentioned the AP poll officially coming out, here's the latest one right here with Arkansas moving up to 17th. So a few of those teams also, last time I checked, or a lot of them, I should say, in the AP 25, Arkansas's already played. So great resume, great situation to be in heading into SEC tournament play. And now you moved up to 17th with Texas Tech being in front of you, which I don't know about all that.
Yeah, it's really interesting if you look at like the bracket matrix and a lot of those seed lists out there, they've got Texas Tech now just right ahead of Arkansas for that Final Four seed. And it's like, I know a way to distinguish who's better, Now, Texas Tech, to their credit, I think they have, like, their top-end wins are a little bit more impressive than Arkansas's. I mean, Arkansas's best win is Texas Tech. And I know those guys beat Houston. They've got some good ones in there. So that's kind of the separator right now. But, I mean, if they go down early in their tournament, Arkansas takes care of business in theirs, then, yeah, there's still a pathway for Arkansas to jump into to one of those protected seed ranges. But what I am most happy about with this AP poll, I predicted this morning, I thought Arkansas would be maybe 18 or 19. I thought they would make a little bit of a jump, but not too much. 17, I'm pleased with that. My biggest thing was Arkansas was 20 last week, and Miami of Ohio was 19. And I'm just like, I get it. They're undefeated. That's fine. I watched them play 2 full basketball games last week. They're not good, okay? They're just not. I'm sorry. They're going down in the first round of the tournament. I hope Arkansas gets them. It's a cool story. That's great. I don't like them being ranked ahead of my pig. I'm glad that the AP voters feel the same way.
Yeah, Miami. I'm 100% with you on Miami of Ohio, and I'm glad you said it because, I kind of felt bad for making fun of them a lot. But, yeah, they're definitely going to lose in the first round of the tournament. They're not an actual, top 15, 20 team or whatever. It's interesting about, when you think about Arkansas and Texas Tech just simply plays in a much better conference. And I know that sounds kind of, SEC fans, we always think we have the best everything. I like Texas Tech. There's just less to think about because they have played so many of those top teams. I think the SEC as a conference obviously is down from where it was at last year. I'm starting to really wonder what it's going to look like when we get into tournament play. It never ends up what you actually think, but I'm a little bit worried about these SEC teams outside of Florida, frankly, because like Bama, I think they're pretty good, but I don't know if I'm super confident they're going to go on a long run. Arkansas is kind of in that same kind of boat. Tennessee, I don't think anybody feels good about them. And so it's going to be very interesting once we get to tournament time because we're going to find out a lot about these teams. And we might find out that Arkansas played a better than we thought SEC schedule. But right now, it just doesn't look that way or feel that way at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And in fact, I was thinking about this with the SEC tournament starting up. And to your point, Andrew, which teams in the SEC that if you told me, hey, in the NCAA tournament, you're going to lose in the first round, it's like, obviously I'm biased. So Arkansas is totally not going to do that. And I don't think Florida is going to. But I mean, I'm not saying Bama even will, but geez, I just feel like all it would take is just one off night shooting, I just feel like that's all it would take for them. because they can't stop anybody defensively. And so it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee lost in the first round.
Not at all.
Like there would be so many teams that are making the tournament where I'd look at them and be like, hey, if you lost in the first round, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'd also, if you told me that any team besides Florida made the Final Four, I mean, obviously Arkansas would love to have it, but it'd also be maybe a little bit surprising to me as well. So it's just a really weird dynamic with the SEC and where it stands right now, where, again, I believe Arkansas is a good team. I want them to go far. I'm biased. I'll admit it. But I'm also not sitting back and being like, man, there could just be one of those years where you get 2 SEC teams in there in the Final Four or anything. It's just not that type of conference right now.
It's really not. I think we're all kind of in agreement. Like, yeah, Florida, you feel pretty good about their odds to make a nice run there. Alabama and Arkansas seem like the most likely. They seem anything can happen, right? We know, we get it. John Caleb, I know, okay, but it feels like they'll be able to get through a game, at least. And then, hey, all bets are off at that point. I mean, hell, Arkansas is probably going to play a team seeded higher than them in the second round, and Alabama's going to pop. If you're in a 4 or 5 game, you're going to be playing a top 25 caliber team in the second round. So all bets are off at that point. Outside of that, though, I think everybody's very much game to lose in the first round. The rest of the league, outside of, I guess, Vandy and Tennessee will probably be in the 4, 5, 6 seed range, depending on how things shake out. But everybody else is like in an 8-9 game or in a 7-10 game or in Dayton for the first 4 or whatever. So all bets are off with the conference this year, man. I have a feeling this will be one of those deals where it's like the SEC in bowls sometimes. Like, oh, yeah, well, it's the dominant conference, and they stink it up in bowl season. Everybody makes a big deal out of it. They used to do this for the Big Ten, I think, in basketball. It kind of strikes me as the SEC is going to get the most teams in, and then they'll have like 3 in the second weekend, and people are going to be like, oh, wait, we knew it all along.
Yeah, and it's also just one of those things where I think we see it happen all the time where there's teams that have a dominant – or conferences, that have a dominant regular season, and then all their top teams get popped or something weird like that happens where the team that advanced the furthest was like the team that finished 6th or 7th in the conference. And so I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of that. And so if the SEC ends up having a better tournament than we expected, we'll all probably be looking at it and being like, oh, yeah, see, turns out this was murderer's row. But for this Arkansas team, it's kind of funny because they really aren't that proven against the high level competition. And so we're going to go into that game with, the way it shakes out now, you assume Arkansas would go into a game with a potential 1 seed if they made the Sweet 16, and we would be having this exact conversation that we're having now about, all right, can Arkansas really beat a good team? We'd be looking around the tournament field, seeing which teams advanced and say, oh, well, that team's in the Sweet 16. Arkansas played them, and oh, that team's in the Sweet 16. So it's going to be very interesting. By the time we actually get to that point in the Sweet 16, we'll have a much better idea of what level of competition Arkansas has faced. But I'm also okay if Arkansas wants to save their elite win of the season for a Sweet 16. I'll take it.
Yeah, that would be really nice, too. I think everybody would sign up for that. And part of our Alumni Hall question of the day, which is presented by Alumni Hall, reminder, folks, that we're actually going to be there at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue this Friday for Inside Arkansas Live. So from 12 to 2, we'll be live there and getting you ready for the Razorback weekend, as there's some SEC play going to be starting up for baseball, which I'm sure we'll have some updates on that here soon, and maybe we probably should. But either way, it's not going great, but we'll get to that. Either way, we'll be live there at Alumni Hall. If you come by and hang out with us, you'll get, Inside AR 20. Can't use the old code anymore. Inside AR 20 for 20% off your purchase. And they have everything in stock. They have all the baseball gear, baseball jerseys, baseball hats, as well as the newest of polos and the high-end quality materials that you could possibly want for men, women, and kids. They have it all. It's the best and ultimate Razorback shopping experience. So be sure to come on by at any point in time, but really come on by Friday as we will be live there from 12 to 2 there at Alumni Hall. It's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And guys, as part of that, which I know it's like Curtis always does his report card and everything, but just I wanted to get the fans' ideas of where everything's at for the grade that you would give for the Razorback basketball regular season. Obviously, only 4 choices can really be given. So I tried to be as understanding maybe to where it was at, but it was A minus, B plus, or B or below. Right now, where it stands, 60% of Razorback fans say A minus. Is that you feel good about that? You feel like that's a fair assessment?
I like it. Yeah, I think that's about right where I'm at, actually.
Okay, perfect.
Curtis, was that off camera that we had this conversation yesterday?
It's for the radio.
Oh, okay. It was for, yeah.
Yep.
it's streaming right now on 102.1 The One. But we literally did the report card bit, and this is before we knew that we were going to be doing this. But I think I was like right between B+, A-.
Yeah.
The reason I would go B+ is just because like that's what you expected them to be, and so I can't give them that much credit for not going that much higher than their expectations. But I definitely don't want to take the success that Arkansas had in the regular season for granted. Obviously, we all know we'd rather have the postseason, but I think it's very easy to say, yeah, you had a great regular season, but it's like that's, it's really hard to be dismissive of when you have that large of a sample size of you just being an adult competent team. You had to play a lot of good competition. I'm very pleased.
Yeah, and also too, like I'm sure they were, hopefully just halfway joking about it, but they were saying, I don't know, us having a great regular season. We've been successful with having bad regular seasons and still made it into the tournament. And it's like, I don't know if you can really say that, because the years you went to the Elite Eight were 2 years that you had a good regular season. So, it's not like you got to the Elite Eight both years where you were just a 10 seed. It's like, yes, you were a 8 seed and a 10 seed and made it to the Sweet 16. That's awesome. But the years prior to that, you were a 3 seed and a 4 seed and you made it to the Elite Eight. So just because over the past few years you still had that success does not just immediately mean, oh, well, we're having too good of a regular season, therefore we're going to lose in the first round. There's just not really anything to that. Like you've made it further when you've had good regular seasons than you did when you had bad ones. So
yeah.
I
Is
don't know
it
if
fair
that
to
can
say,
equate.
like, because I know we're gonna when we get the NCAA tournament draw, that's when we'll really start having this conversation. But as a precursor, is it fair to say, like, if Arkansas goes to the Sweet 16, given the regular season that they had, like that's kind of your barometer right there? Anything less than that, you can be pissed about. Anything more than that, you can be thrilled about. But it's like that's kind of the, like, if they just go to the Sweet 16 and lose, this has now been clinched as like a good season.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I would be on board with that. I would have to bite my tongue a little bit to come across as disappointed if they didn't go further, because that is, I mean, anytime you do that, no matter what the circumstances are, it's nothing other than a really good year. But yeah, you'd have to talk me down a little bit from being like, they really should have, because it's true. Like if you're one of the final 8 teams standing, I mean, there's just no way that's not an A effort at the end of the day. And if you're one of the final 16, that's really, really hard to do under any circumstances, really, no matter what your expectations were. But you know how we are around these parts.
Well, and also the game, if they lose by 38 to the 1 seed,
also true.
A little bit different than if you lose by 6 to Duke or whatever, and you're like, okay, we were right there. Duke goes on to win the Natty, and you're like, okay, we were a top 5 team. You can pretty much do that bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, I was going to say it goes through like what type of loss or exit it is. If you lose to Miami of Ohio in the Sweet 16, I'm going to be kind of pissed. Like I'm going to be like, nah, that can't happen. But it's we've talked about the comparisons too. To me, it's just kind of like in baseball with making it up to Omaha. Is like is Omaha the only goal? Well, I mean, it's the biggest one, and then once you get there, make something happen. But being there is a good year. And it's kind of the same thing with the Sweet 16, in my opinion. Is, hey, get to the Sweet 16. If you go 0-2 in Omaha, are you happy? No. Just like if you lost in the Sweet 16, would you be this year? Would you be happy? You'd say maybe not. I wouldn't be happy, but I'd just be okay. Good year, solid year. You did what you were kind of supposed to do, especially knowing the crapshoot that it is of the NCAA tournament. So I'd be fine with it. But it's about the matchups. It's about who you play. It's about how you lose too. Like last year, losing that 16-point lead and the way you lost Texas Tech was that just sucked. But it's just how it's going to play out once that portion happens. Which, speaking of the NCAA tournament, actually, the latest bracketology for everybody that's really interested in it. This is the latest, I guess, from yesterday with Joe Lenardi. Has Arkansas still as a 5 seed playing South Florida, the 12 seed. In San Diego, in the bracket where Duke resides. How do we feel about this particular setup if this was to transpire?
I need Joe to just put a little bit more effort into his job. Can we just stop with the Texas Tech in the second round projection? Like it's not that it's impossible, but it's just so unlikely to happen. I would like to see that mixed up a little bit, but whatever. I would sign up for it, right? Without JT Toppin, and now because they did the thing where they had the let's rally a man down, and they got the bump there. They won some pretty impressive games. They lost a couple in a row, about what you would expect from a team who loses their best player. We keep seeing the South Florida projection. Like the Joseph Pinion thing would be weird. The Damian Collins thing would be weird, but that's not an awful draw by any means. San Diego is a cool place, and I have certainly shifted my line of thinking on what 1 seed I want to wind up with. I am 1,000% on the Duke train, especially given the news about Caleb Foster and his foot injury, and people are thinking that might be a super long-term thing. And Malawach, their big man's not going to play in the ACC tournament because of his injury, and so it's like, okay, that's the one that you want. Even if those guys come back, who knows what it would look like? Are they going to be 100%? That's the 1 seed that you want to fall into a region with, especially now that UConn got beat by a horrible Marquette team and has fallen off of that 1 line. The alternative is Arizona or Michigan or Florida. No thanks, and double no thanks.
Yeah, I was actually really at first I was like excited when I saw that UConn score, because I was like, oh man, that could be a 1 seed you'd face. I'll be fired up. Then I realized it took me a few minutes to realize they would fall off the line, and so now you're not getting that opportunity. And so yeah, I'm definitely with you that Duke is, not a team that I'm like dying to face, but if you are, picking the lesser of 2 evils, I think Duke might be that. I would love to see Texas Tech in the second round. I agree that it's unlikely, but yeah, this draw. So I guess yesterday when I checked, and they update it every 12 hours at this point. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was like Arkansas was in Philly playing Kansas in the second round, and it was, I can't remember which 1 seed it was, maybe Arizona or someone like that. But I didn't like that one nearly as much. I would love this one. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I laughed first off just because of the fact that, we're talking about the fact that I guess the flights from the NCAA sent out that memo about, hey, flights are going to be shorter and, we're going to do that. So what are we going to do? We're going to send pretty much every team that's not even close to San Diego out to San Diego. Like, that was my first thought. I was just like, oh, it's Arkansas, South Florida, Texas Tech, Stephen F. Foster. Why not? Which, again, I don't know if that's any consideration. But to y'all's point, too, it's like, yeah, I would like to have a favorable matchup, so I'm never going to complain about it. But the Texas Tech in the second round, it's kind of like the same thing with Kansas. Give me somebody different. I'm tired of playing these teams as often as you do, and you've already played them in the regular season. I know people, it happens. I'm just not a big fan of having rematches kind of being set up in the second round for anybody, especially from the non-conference slate. I just don't. That's not appealing to me. I know that inevitably it can happen, but it just seems like there's an intentional, like, hey, the 2 teams that faced each other last year in the NCAA tournament, the 2 teams that faced each other already in the regular season, let's pin them up again. It's like, dude, why? We've already seen this. We need to mix it up a little bit.
Would the committee maybe say, hey, JT Toppin got injured. It's a different Texas Tech team. It's in a rematch. It's a completely different matchup.
Sadly, yeah, they probably would. I don't know what the committee thinks half the time when they do things. So, I mean, let's just be honest about it. But still, the bracketology can always change, especially with the conference slate and where it's at right now, and the conference tournaments that are picking up. Which, by the way, how do you guys feel about an Arkansas-Alabama potential matchup in the second round of the SEC tournament? Like, where you stand on that one?
I'd love to see it, man. I think that's a game that I know Arkansas fans wish they could have back. I know it's one that Cal, like, that was about as irritated as he's been after a game this season. The players, they feel like they should have got that when they ran out of players. That, hey, they lost the game. Credit to Alabama, but I think they would like to get a crack at those dudes again on a neutral floor. I bet it would be equally entertaining. Like, I'm not going to go into it saying, oh, Arkansas will beat them for sure in a rematch on a neutral. I don't know that, but I think it would be an awesome game. When I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thankful, I think, that Arkansas wound up getting the 3 seed instead of the 2. And it's not that it's going to be an easy game for Arkansas on Friday. I like the idea of fresh and rested Razorback team against, a buckyball that they already handled, who had just played less than 24 hours before. Like, that sounds like a good plan to me. But if you look at Alabama, they're either going to get Georgia, who just kicked their tails literally a week ago, or they're going to get Texas, who went into Tuscaloosa and beat them earlier in the season. Like, it's not a given that they're going to get through it. I think at the very least, it's going to be a competitive game for them. So we'll see if that's the way that it kind of works out. But I'm all for a potential rematch with those dudes.
Yeah, and I think it also shapes up well to where, like, I think Arkansas is going to feel pretty good about their first round matchup. You know, like A&M is not a bad team. You know, no disrespect, Luke, but like, I don't think any Razorback fan is going to wake up on Friday and be sweating. You know, if that's the team that you face in the first round, and so it sets up kind of well to where it's a win-win scenario in the second round where you either get that revenge over Bama. You know, you face a team that's a legitimate, you know, SEC or NCAA tournament team. The level of team you'll have to beat in the second round. You get a nice test there. Worst case scenario is you go home and you have a lot of rest, which I think everybody in the fan base has been aggressively begging for.
Yes, yeah. Which again, if it's a means to an end. You know, if whatever helps you in your chances of an NCAA tournament, that's what it needs to be about. But I know, Curtis, you've talked about the tournament bracket, but here's just a look at it for those who may not have seen it. That this is how it's going to stand up as far as the SEC tournament goes. 0% chance that Arkansas actually plays on time on Friday night, since they are the last game of the day. So it's probably going to be a late one there. But as we talked about, you know, you're more than likely going to play A&M. Actually, let me throw it to you, the guys, this real quick. If there was a team that plays on Wednesday that would, if I told you, hey, a team that plays on Wednesday is going to win the SEC tournament, which team would you be betting on to be that team that wins the SEC tournament?
That's a tough one.
I know, because most of them suck. But it just, you know, there's always I was about to say Texas too. I was just something about them, man. I was about to say Texas.
No Georgia?
Well, they play Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about the Wednesday teams?
Yeah. Wednesday teams.
Oh, just Wednesday? Oklahoma, low key. Oklahoma's been playing.
They're red hot, man. Yeah, they're red hot.
They're not going to win the damn tournament, but yeah, I don't think any of those teams. Texas would be the only chance, I would say.
Yeah, like I mean, and it makes sense because they're the highest of all the teams who are playing. But like Kentucky's the best of that bunch, I think. But they're not going to get through Florida, so there's no way I would go with them.
Yeah, you can't win 4 straight games.
Yeah,
or what is it? 5 straight games?
5. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we still call it Wednesday Night Sadness though?
Yes.
Even though it's okay.
Of course, yeah.
We called it that when Arkansas played in it last year. So
yeah,
it's only fair.
Yeah, because somebody's like, it's not Wednesday Night Sadness anymore because there's 4 games now. I was like, what does that mean? It's like, it's still just because you have more games doesn't mean it's still not Wednesday Night Sadness. It's 100% Wednesday Night Sadness.
It is kind of messed up that, like, you know, Kentucky, I'm not sad about them being in Wednesday Night Sadness, but like that a team like A&M could have finished 9th. You know, a lot of teams could have finished 9th yesterday. Not bad teams, but, you know, so I guess that's why people say that, but I'm still cool with it. I mean, even if you're the 9 seed, that's still sad.
Yes, it's actually very sad, and sad for them too, because I've seen nothing but all the issues that they've had of how much they're disappointed with the season and how it's gone and everything. And Dick Vitale, I didn't watch it, but apparently Dick Vitale was kind of crapping on him.
He's roasting him, man. Yeah, he's getting after him.
Yeah, the 90-year-old Dick Vitale. If you're getting roasted by him on TV, that's bad news, especially when he's calling your game. So, but we'll get to some of your chats, folks. We'll get into some other things that are going on in the sports world as well. But want to remind everybody that tonight is the night where we will be live for a Pot at the Palace live event at Blue Ember Smokehouse in Rogers at 1723 Pleasant Grove Road, as we will have very special guests Malik Thomas and Amari Brown. So, really looking forward to this event. I know it's been in the making, and we were able to make it work for everybody involved. I know Blue Ember's excited. You guys were there last Wednesday. So, hey, twice in 1 week. What could be better than that? But either way, it's going to be so much fun to have these guys there tonight. We're going to do a live stream starting at 7 p.m., but also, of course, going to be doing it in front of an audience. So if you're around, if you want to hear from these great Razorback basketball players, especially getting into postseason play right before it, this is the time to do it. We'll have an audience Q&A. There'll be opportunities for photos as well, if anybody would like to do that with these guys. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be just a cool, chill, hangout deal. And we talked about it too, but it's been awesome no matter what. It's always a little bit better when you coming off of like a 2-0 stretch and there's wins, and especially Malik Thomas playing well. And it makes it a lot easier and smoother for the kids, you know?
Absolutely, man. The reason that I was nervous about this, at least until after Wednesday night, because it was like, if Arkansas goes 0-2, these dudes might be leaving for Nashville on Monday. Yeah. We might have to like reschedule or something. But after they locked up that double bye, I was like, all right, cool. we're chilling, until Friday. So I'm going to thank them for being good at basketball when we get there. That way we were able to make this happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do just want to throw out there, and I mentioned this on the Pod the Palace, but we're live streaming this. That way everybody who can't make it out there can tune in and everything. But don't get upset if you're asking questions and things like that. We're not going to have time to get to the chat in the live stream because we're interviewing those guys in person there, and then we're going to have the audience and everything like that. We want you guys to be able to tune in and listen and enjoy it and, chat amongst yourselves and everything like that. But don't feel like we're intentionally ignoring you or anything like that. If you're in the chat during the stream asking questions, because we only got them for a finite amount of time and we're not going to be able to get to that. So I just want to make sure I threw that out there. That way nobody was like, what the heck? I sent a super chat. You didn't ask Leak my question. That's not what this is. So I just want to make sure that we had, enough clarity there for that.
Yeah, you got to be a real living, breathing human being, live and in the flesh, to be able to talk to the fellas, be able to talk to us a little bit. But we understand that there's a lot of living, breathing human beings who are going to be watching from your homes or whatever. And most of you are normal, so you're not going to be freaking out about this. But I'm glad you did say that for those. But it's going to be a fun night, man. I'm excited, and I'm excited for. I don't know what the atmosphere is going to look like. We anytime we do these events, we don't know if 2 people are going to show up. We don't know if 20 or 200 are going to show up. It's always cool to be there whenever the fans can interact with the players, and it's just kind of a nice little warm, happy thing going into postseason, which I think that's the best part about this time of year. Any postseason for any sport, it's always cool to just see the fans go out there, and it's like an experience that you're not guaranteed, but this time of year, it's always cool seeing those fans because the excitement's at an all-time high for them. The players are likely going to be buzzing with the way they've been playing and with what's coming up, and so it's just going to be a fun little moment to soak in.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I'm glad that it was all able to come together. I know Blue Ember's really excited about it, so appreciate them having a great location for it to happen, and you get to eat too. So it's not like, oh, you get to good. Yeah, it's like, like you just sit there, you're just looking at them. It's like you get to eat some great barbecue tonight with Blue Ember. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really exciting, and we'll have some details as we get closer to it as well on how it's all going to go down. But I know our intern Cameron's going to be there, producer Cameron. I'll be there too. So
intern Gigi also.
Yeah, intern Gigi, and a lot of people I know are already going to be there. So you might want to get there a little early, folks, if you're trying to make that happen. I already see somebody asked, he's like, hey, we need to get to Amari to eat the ice cream. It's like, no, we got to save that for later. We got to save that for one of us to get the bets going. But either way, it's going to be awesome. So be sure to show up. It'll be great. And maybe I'm being too morbid about this. Guys, this is probably going to last time that you're going to be able to hear from Malik Thomas. I'm just saying, as a Razorback at least.
I mean, we'll hit him up in the locker room at the tournament, but that's about it, man.
Yeah,
like it's.
He's not going to have Blue Ember barbecue in front of him when we hit him up in. So this is the best thing for you.
Plus, they're a little bit more professional when you're doing those locker room interviews. Although we did get the cool kill, celebrate, kill again. It's a little bit different, when you're walking around and there's all these guys with their shirts tucked into their slacks walking around putting a camera in their face. It's harder to be loose. I'm hoping tonight, that's my goal, is that we can get the boys to loosen up a little bit and let them know, hey, this isn't an interrogation. We're just hanging out and eating barbecue. Let's just have some fun.
I guess I'll switch up my wardrobe idea after that. So
yes,
not tucking into the slacks. Okay.
Yeah, don't wear a white shirt either. So yes,
when you've got what's that dude that Dan Wolken putting a microphone in your face asking you about COVID. It's just a little bit like hard to loosen up and have fun in those locker room interviews. Tonight we'll not have that. That'll be good.
Yeah. They're going to have barbecue stains on their shirts and everything. It's going to be great. So yeah, but Malik Thomas and Amir Brown will be there tonight with the Blue Ember. So really looking forward to having that to go down. We'll also have our best and worst of the weekend coming up here to get to your chats. Andrew, you want to go ahead and give us a Razorback baseball update if you don't mind?
Yeah, James DeCramer, not good. Which actually, I'm going to use this time to do my favorite thing: make fun of Ryan, because Ryan earlier in the chat said DeCramer got that 4th starter spot on lock, which is funny for a lot of reasons. One, because the 4th starter spot's not exactly the most coveted spot on the team, but also he very much does not have it on lock because he did not get an out in his start today. I think, what did he go? He went like 2-strike base hit or a walk, 2-strike base hit, another base hit, home run, and then another base hit, and then they pulled him. That was it. Tate McGuire's coming in on a great job, and so Arkansas's probably gonna have a chance to win the game if they can swing the bats a little bit. I'll tell you what, we haven't had a chance to see Arkansas swing it much in this game so far. Although Carter Rudenbar just had a nice little base hit up the middle to start the second. I loved what Camden Kojal said yesterday when he went to the press conference and was like, "We just got to have a little bit more competitiveness out of our lineup. We got to have some guys 1 through 9 who get up there and really want to compete." And he was like, "People used to get in ancient Rome. They used to get in and fight each other to the death." He was like, "We need to have that kind of mentality when we're up at the plate." So if they don't swing it well today, I'll be a little bit freaking out.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't be the only one of Razorback fandom that's freaking out there, because people are going to be probably taking it to a whole new level. It's just crazy. It's like SEC plays here. It's like it's here. So it's not like, all right, we got to live through these warm up games. So people gotta get it together, gotta lock in and get ready for it. But I feel like if there's a lot of game left today, but if it goes the way it's gone so far, I'm sure people are going to.
By the way, they are like 1,000% going to win this game.
Oh,
you keep doing this to yourself. And
no, but I'm being serious. Like, because DeCramer sucked, obviously, and like I would prefer he not have sucked. But really, that was kind of just a him problem. That wasn't like a fundamental the program fell apart type of thing. Like, even if they only score 6 runs or something like that, they should be able to get it done with the arms they have available. They'll probably be okay.
Poor Ryan, man. He brings some positivity for a change, and the dude he's talking about just gets drilled, gets chased in the first.
I know, man. Damn, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. But
you can't catch a break.
If you don't want to get made fun of, don't tweet at us on Saturday nights about how much you hate Trevin Brazil, and we probably won't make fun of you.
Yeah, great point there too. Oh, also, sorry, Peyton from Blue Ember. I'm glad you brought this up. I meant to say it, and I apologize. It says, by the way, for those coming out to Blue Ember and Rogers, they were stay open until 9 p.m. because if you look at it, it says 8 p.m. they close. You're like, oh gosh, I don't get. Nope, they're staying open till 9. So do not sweat staying too late. Come out and enjoy. So, Which, by the way, I'm going to be honest, guys. I did not watch any Inside Arkansas Live last week, but went great. Guys, I was jealous though because you guys got some barbecue and looked awesome. And I got to. Well, I say I didn't watch anything. I just was going back and making sure that my internet was working, so I used it as a test for the Blue Ember show. But it looked amazing, though.
Yeah.
Well, I have no doubts.
It was a good time. We enjoyed it out there. Had some good barbecue. Had Peyton on. He hung out with us for a little while on there, so it was great, man. We're excited to get back out there. Did
he hate it or did he love it?
I think he was okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't put any pressure on him. I sent him a text. He was there and he was hanging out and everything. I was like, hey, if you wanna hop on with us for a few minutes, then come on over. No pressure. I don't want to put too much on him. And he came over there and told us about his experiences with Arkansas basketball, losing to Hofstra, and the Blake Griffin game was, I guess, the last game he had been to at Bud Walton. So then he was there for Texas, which is awesome.
Yeah, 20-point dub. I mean, how could you not have fun at that? We did a cool little mic switcheroo thing. It was nice.
Yeah, it was good.
No, that's awesome. No, it's good to get Peyton on there too, because I feel like he should be good with it because he came on Sunday Scary, so he should be a veteran at this point in time of coming on there and talking shop.
Big country has left the yard.
There we go.
So there you go. For how many runs?
2-run home run makes it 4-2 in the bottom of the second inning.
So
he needed to get that one. He's been swinging it pretty well. He's swinging it around 300, but the power just hadn't been there. Which I know he has, but I just would have liked to seen it. I know home runs are bad, but I did like to see him hitting one.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah, so all you had to do, Andrew, is just put it into existence. Arkansas is going to win this game, and then suddenly the bats start getting hot. So don't let them get hot now. But I was also a little bit jealous for a few things, guys, that you guys got to talk about the Nolan Richardson statue and stuff. Like I was really bummed that I missed out on that conversation.
The Tyson deal, the Nolan stuff. We had a lot going on that day, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Which, by the way, real quick, because I know we'll get to your chats, folks. Last night when I was so lovingly delayed as long as humanly possible and didn't to get on a flight until about 1:30 this morning, but the Razorback women's tennis team was on the flight with me. Shout out to them, because guess what they were doing for the most part the entire time there while waiting on the flight? They're
eating Chili's.
No, they're eating their homework. Well, yeah, trust me. Hey, if Chili's was open, man, there was like nothing open except McDonald's, and I went over there and I went over there. And I was like, there were like, man, I could just go for some fries. And they're like, we don't have any. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, how do you not have fries? That's like your biggest thing. So either way, it was cool though. It was cool to see them. And Greg was like, hey, I wanted to ask them about, like, what do y'all think about the Tyson logo going on your tennis uniforms? But they could probably care less. They probably don't even matter.
It looked good on the tennis uniform. They ran somebody out there from every team with the logo. Some look great, some look kind of weird, but it'll take a little bit of getting used to for some of them, but it'll be all right.
Thankfully, the baseball team's wearing the red uniform today, but they are not wearing the Tyson logo, so you can't see how obnoxious it looks on there.
Yeah.
Because is it starting next year, right? It's not like anytime this year, right? Okay.
I think it's like next academic, like in August or whenever the academic calendar starts. That's when it'll start.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, appreciate you, John Tyson, for making it happen, man. You're the GOAT for that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to your chats, folks. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us and tuning in with us. Before we do, though, I want to remind everybody that Hickey & Hole Law is the official law firm of us here at Inside Arkansas. That anytime you need any help when it comes to all of your legal needs and advice and representation, there's only one place to go. It's Hickey & Hole Law. They have offices across the entire state of Arkansas where they're going to be here for you each and every step of the way, communicating everything for you and with you, whether it's email, whether it's text message, whether it's on the phone, or whether it's in person. They're all about building that relationship and building that trust with you each and every step of the way. And it doesn't matter if it's divorce cases, custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury, estate planning, you name it, they do it, and they're going to help you out. So give them a call today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. Scan that QR code right there on your screen. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. All right, so getting into some of your chats, folks, because we all know the rules. Super chats get read first, but shout out to our guy. David says, the SEC feels like Florida, huge gap. Alabama and Arkansas, another big gap. UT, Vandy, Kentucky, A&M, Georgia, Missouri.
Yeah, I would say considering Florida beat Alabama and Arkansas by like a combined 70 points or something, 60 some odd points, that feels about right, man. It was kind of crazy on Saturday how nobody wanted that fourth double bye. Missouri had a shot at it. They get beat at home on their senior day. And Tennessee had it on lock, and they lose at home to Vanderbilt. And then because of those things, Kentucky had a shot, and then they lose at home on senior day. It's like all these teams are just getting popped on their senior day, and it wound up being Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. A&M, who went to 3 overtimes to beat LSU, to wind up getting that, and Vandy gets the nod because of the tiebreaker or whatever. But it's like, to be such a coveted spot to get, nobody wanted that thing. It felt like on Saturday. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, which team do you think of that group? Because I agree with David's sentence. Actually, I think it's spot on. Which team do you think has the most right to be offended by being in that third tier and not being in the second tier with Arkansas and Alabama?
Probably either Tennessee or Vanderbilt. Tennessee didn't have Nate Ament, and they probably, well, I don't know. I think they probably win that game at home if they have him. But they've been kind of so-so. It would have to be one of those two.
And he's probably coming back, I've heard. Maybe like at least for the NCAA tournament.
To play it. Yeah, I think so.
Even then, though, it's like, are you really going to have him like hit the ground running? Like, are you going to be that dangerous? So I think it's fair to be skeptical about them. Vandy,
I mean, they're good, but they're so vulnerable, man.
They're right where they belong in that other group with teams like Kentucky and A&M, where it's like they're clearly not bad. They have enough wins that you just can't really deny, but they're nobody's scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to call it when we do our bracketology or bracket challenge or whatever you want to call it once the NCAA tournament comes out. I'm picking them losing first round. I don't even care who it's against. I'm going to pick Vanderbilt to lose in the first round. That's
my favorite show of the year. We'll have our Selection Sunday live stream and everything. That'll be a lot of fun. I know Monday on Inside Arkansas Live, it's probably like the day before we leave to go over wherever we're going, and we do the live bracket with each other. All of us get a trump card for a pick or whatever. That was a lot of fun last year. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's one of the greatest times of the year with the NCAA tournament, man. It's awesome. So let's see. Also, shout out to our guy Peyton from Blue Ember says today's going to be a great day. Stoked for tonight. Yeah, we are too, man. Yeah, we are too. We're excited and Can't wait to be out there again and be able to talk some basketball and do a little dinner time. Usually it's lunchtime for at Blue Ember. This time it's going to be a little dinner time action. So really looking forward to it and all that. Bama Hog says, I'm ready for postseason play, but sad that Acuff's time in the Razorback uniform is so limited now.
Yeah, no, there's such a wide range of what this could be. It could be just a minimum of 2 games left with these guys. It could be as many as 9. So hopefully they're closer to that end of the equation, but at least meet us somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I do know how they can extend their time as Razorbacks. You just keep winning. You get to play more games, and that applies this week and it applies next week. So I'm all for it.
Yes, just keep winning and make us all happy, and everybody will be like, you know what? We're sad Darius Acuff is gone, but we had a good run with him. We felt good. That thank you, Darius, for renting yourself out to us for a year, you rental player, and we appreciate all that you did for us. So yeah, just do it that way. That'll be perfect. Let's see. Also, we talked about some of that. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Omri. I want to bring this up because he's actually come to Blue Ember once before. He said, start a new job, can't join live all the time, but always find the time later to listen, stay active for me in the chat. So yeah,
we did give him permission. We were like, hey, we're okay with this. Just in case you were coming for us for, any of that, we're allowing you. It's fine. But we appreciate you nonetheless.
There you go. Let's see. Our favorite person, Katz, is in the chat, and he says, Curtis, I watched your pod the Palace the other day. You need to quit giving this fan base false hope of Leak coming back. He's gone, and you know it.
You have to be the most intentionally dense person to ever walk the face of the earth. If you're actually real, we don't know that for sure. Just been one of the only people who's been very transparent about how unlikely it is that Malik Thomas will return. In the pod the Palace that he's referencing, the entire, and I went to the greatest lengths I possibly could to say, hey, this would be what I would do if I'm building a Final Four roster for next year. And based on what Cal's saying about a couple guys returning, my priorities would be to do whatever it takes to get Billy and Malik back. Furthered by, it's going to be so much harder to get a Malik Thomas back than it even is a Billy Richmond. You just go out of your way to do. I just don't understand. But what I do like about Katz is that when he's making his pitiful attempts to troll, sometimes he brings up points that I want to talk about. And I think he did that a little bit later. But yeah, whatever.
Let's see. He also had, what was it? Oh yeah, Katz. You also said, Curtis, you just said a couple days ago that Missouri, yes, Saturday was y'all's best win. Make up your mind.
Once again, and I know your comprehension, it's not your fault, man. Like I understand it. We appreciate you being here. I'm thankful that you're able to figure out how to get on the internet and join something like this. So that's good, and we're happy that you're here. Given the context of the game, with your All-American being out, Arkansas being able to go on the road and pick up that win against Missouri was their best road win of the year. And given the circumstances, you could make that argument that it was their best win. You would know nothing about beating Missouri on the road or at home, actually. But Arkansas does. They did both. But Texas Tech, if you look at the quadrants, neutral site, quad 1A win, that's Arkansas's best win of the season. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it's like Dennis Gates kind of owns Kentucky. I'm just going to say that. He owns Kentucky. He owns the state. And it's probably why him and Cal are such boys, and good friends. He takes the losses to Arkansas, but he gets the wins against Kentucky. It's a nice thing for Dennis Gates to do there, too.
It is indeed.
Let's see. Also, WKRP, WPIG says the hosts have never experienced a season like this with a coach like this or a player like this. Culture change.
The further along that we get into Cal having success, the more I've noticed WKRP getting upset about it.
Yeah.
But why?
You guys notice that?
I have noticed that. Well, it's just a funny thing because, one, obviously Arkansas is not, on the they're not a blue blood program who's had this crazy, 9 national titles or anything like that. But it's like we, in the time that the three of us have been covering the team full time, we've had a lot of basketball success. In fact, since we've been covering the team full time, Arkansas's had more basketball success than Kentucky. So we actually have had a season like this. Not that long ago, we were in the Elite Eight. It's not like we've never had a player like this. We had 3 5-stars in one class just a few years ago before Cal got here. So it's like Actually for us, Cal is just adding to what's already been a grand old time with our basketball program. That's why we're having so much fun and we're having so much enjoyment. And, we spend all our time talking about how awesome the last decade has been covering basketball. And, you want to point to some shit in 1979 and be happy about that? Cool. Since we've been covering the team, it's been a groove the whole time. I've never covered. Actually, that's a lie. There was one bad year. I was gonna say I've never covered a bad basketball team. I have. There was one. But yeah, we're used to tournament success, doing cool things, sending guys to the NBA. Like that's what Arkansas has been doing for this decade.
Well, and I want to give some fans, Razorback fans, credit in a way of, went so long without having any sort of second weekend, like for 25 years roughly. And then you've had 4 of the last 5 become that. It's almost like there's still, it's one thing of just being intentionally like negative and just thinking the world's going to come to an end and just never work out and your team sucks, this team's not any good. It's like, it's one thing for that, but it's almost like there's an element of the understanding that Razorback fans know about how difficult it is to win in the tournament and how, hey, don't take this for granted. They'll still be mad if they lose in the first weekend this year, of course. But I don't think Razorback fans have looked at the past 4 or 5 years and making it to the Sweet 16 4 times and the Elite 8 twice and been like, that's our entitlement. That's where it always should be. And, that's just what we do because we're so much better than everybody else. It's like, yeah, you're very successful, but it's also like, it just shows the great runs that you've had compared to, say, you at Kentucky, because it hasn't gone very well for you. So I give fans credit in that one. Let's just hope it's not this year where it goes awry.
And I think there's like a misconception out there that by, being thankful or grateful or excited for what they have done means that you don't strive for more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think that actually it's a sign of a fan base that gets it and doesn't operate in delusion to where you're having great success and people are pumped up about it. And of course you're going to puff your chest out and enjoy it and celebrate it. But yeah, we all want to get to a Final Four, man. Everybody wants to cut down the nets. We all want that. We're not going to try to fire Cal after 1 year for it not happening. But this has been a great run of success. They've leveled the program back up to, levels that you kind of thought that they should be for all this time when it wasn't that. And yeah, we all want to see them take the next step. But I don't know that it's just not really a healthy approach to throw a fit about it because it hasn't happened yet when they're really doing great as a program right now.
Listen, Curtis, you're preaching to the choir for us, of course, obviously. I think there's also, by the way, a lot of fans, like a lot of the, I come back to normal living, breathing human beings who are happy and, can enjoy a win without having the big picture fate of the universe hanging over them. But it feels like anytime you say anything positive about basketball, it's like, yeah, but I mean, like, are you going to win the national title? If you say anything positive about baseball, it's like, yeah, but I mean, are you going to win in Omaha? Are you going to not choke in Omaha? And it's like, again, it's like, I get why that thing could hang over you and be something you're like big picture worried about, but why would that affect me on March 8th? Why would I be sad about that on March 9th? Will Arkansas make it to a Final Four? I don't know, but I'm not going to let the fear of not making the Final Four make me sad leading up to the SEC tournament when they're coming off a couple big wins. Like, it's okay to just live in a moment and, appreciate what's happening in real life right now rather than like working yourself up over something that happened last year or something that's going to happen in 4 weeks. It's like, right now is the time to just be excited, be, looking forward to this opportunity and what we're doing on this show, just talking about it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. There's no reason to be sad about something unless there's something to be sad about. And there's nothing to be sad. You should be happy. Everybody should be pumped up and ready to get this postseason going because you're just rolling into the postseason and getting excited and getting ready for it. So, all right, we'll get to more of your chats, folks, but let's go ahead and get into our best and worst of the weekend, which is presented by our friends over at SARACEN. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. And for those of you who are looking for a great promo deal when it comes to the NCAA tournament, for instance, about to be here. Literally, Selection Sunday is Sunday. So if you want to start getting in on not only the great matchups, but all the great specials, great parlays, everything that you could possibly want, better download the app. And the best thing about this is that we give you an exclusive code with us here at Inside Arkansas that if you scan that QR code on your screen, or if you click the link in the description below, It'll take you right to download the app. And when you download the app, be sure to use that promo code InsideAR250. That's InsideAR250. Because when you use that code, you get $250 whenever you bet $25. It's free money. $250 when you bet $25. It's as simple as that. And it's only on the Bet Saracen app. So if you've yet to download it, yet to get going with it, be sure to download it by scanning the QR code, clicking the link in the description below, using that code InsideAR250 to where you bet $25 and get $250 with Bet Saracen. All right, guys. So best and worst of the weekend. I'll go ahead and kick it off here, but just kind of low-hanging fruit from the Arkansas side of things. But I was just really happy for Trevin Brazil, who got my best, just because, the way he performed in his final game at Bud Walton Arena last week, and then for him to go into Missouri, which I think maybe we even talked about it last week, where he didn't have like the best of games all the time against Missouri. And, those are the guys the fans that booed him, fans that, said a lot of things and, felt a certain way about him. And for his final game there in Columbia to be a really good one and to just hit the dagger for the game, it's just chef's kiss. And so, my best of the week is just, of course, the Razorbacks, but Trevin Brazil, I was just really happy for him. Hopefully he continues on the great play heading into postseason, but it's good to see him have a great final game at Bud Walton and a great final game against Missouri when it came to all the history and everything between them.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Heck of a week for TB. I agreed on all fronts, man. Like, he had a poster against Texas that, maybe rivals his best ever. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but it's up there, man. It was pretty impressive. Just a huge game against them. And yeah, I'm with you, man, to go do that against Missouri. And it's not just it's your former team thing. And of course that plays into it, but it's the way that, they're still leaning on a comment he made 4 years ago about, because they did a ton of losing while he was there. And it's like, oh, it's nice to be, in a program where we're winning a lot of games after leaving one where we didn't. And that was just true. Like, they might not have liked the way that was said or whatever, but for 4 years since then, it's been, starting nasty rumors and celebrating him tearing his ACL. And and it's not everybody over. Like, I'm not trying to paint Missouri fans into being this horrible cult of people or whatever, but there's been a pretty loud amount of that stuff there. And at some point it's just like, move on. Like, it's been half a decade since that dude got out of there. And you're right. Like, he hasn't played his best, against them in the past. He's obviously was hurt for some of those games, but for him to go out, in his last regular season game, last time over there, he's a senior. It's their senior day, and to do what he did, I thought was really, really cool for sure. So I echo that. It was either going to be that or it was going to be Malik Thomas, and it's not just because we're hanging out with him tonight, but what a nice moment, and a nice game for him, man. Darius Acuff is out. And so it's going to require everybody to do a little bit extra if you're going to replace that. But right away, everybody looks at Malik Thomas and goes, all right, well, this is a dude who's going to have to score all the points now. And for him to just go out there, and it's not just that he had 30, and yes, they corrected it from 28 to 30 as they should have, which was awesome. That's a career high for him. He wasn't aware of this at the time. I can't wait to talk to him about it at Blue Ember tonight. But the broadcast was just on his head, man, the entire time. It's like, oh, his footwork, it stinks. Oh, that's fool's gold, that shot. Oh, this isn't sustainable. And it's like everything he did, this guy was just going at him. And then he gets on this heater, and it's like another three, another layup, basket after basket after basket, to eventually where he just shut that dude up entirely. That was awesome that he was getting in the zone in real time, while this dude who was, I don't think he was mean-spirited or anything, but he was getting a little carried away trying to discredit everything that he was doing, just had to put his foot entirely in his mouth. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I love that. I love both of those picks. I also take a lot of delight in the fact that John went with Trevin Brazil as his guy, because obviously he did. He went to Como. He had 17 points, hit the game winner, was dominant in the first half. And John just, we kind of briefed him a little bit before the show, has no idea that there was a lot of controversy surrounding TB on Saturday. But it's just hilarious that, like, John is a normal person. So, like, he's watching the game from Mexico, and he's like, oh, yeah, Trevin Brazil, awesome. He went to bed happy that night. That's awesome to me. When it comes to, like, these players that are very polarizing, especially these guys that spend multiple years at Arkansas, and it ends up, you see the fan base get split to where you have one side that only talks about that guy when something goes really poorly, and then there's the other fan who only talks about things when things go well, and they ignore all the bad stuff. But, with what we do, and I think maybe our favorite part about what we do is we just accurately tell the story of these guys' journeys, the ups, the downs, everything in between. And then we look at the end of it and we're like, hey, that was a cool little ride now. And I think we're at that place with TB. I think we're that way with Malik Thomas, who's had his ups and downs in his 1 year at Arkansas. Another guy who I really am, able to take a step back and appreciate the journey is my best of the weekend, which is Hunter Dietz. Good Lord, the way he pitched, the game alone, 12 strikeouts, 6 innings, struck out 12 of the 23 hitters he faced. That performance is dominant. That's exactly what Arkansas needs in that game 2 starting role. The dude looks like a horse, man. The stuff is there. He looks at the part. He's getting his confidence. The command is getting better. Hasn't walked anybody, but also when you just think about what he's kind of had to battle through, and this is a guy that we've had high expectations for ever since he stepped on campus, and you kind of wondered at different points over the last 3 years, you're like, is it ever going to happen for this guy? Every time there's some type of momentum, he gets hurt, and then he comes back and he's healthy, but he's not quite confident, not quite ready to contribute, and where's the velo? Is it back? And I feel like this offseason was really important for him, not only to develop as a pitcher and get some experience, but also to kind of really look himself in the mirror and be like, all right, what kind of guy am I going to be? Am I going to be a guy who goes out there and gives my team a chance to win? Can I make a lot of money? Can I really show the draft, guys that I'm about this life? And he's definitely doing that. He's going to be a rich guy this summer, and I'm excited to watch him pitch for Arkansas this year, man. I think everybody should appreciate the journey that it's taken for him to get here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's good to see him kind of step up, and again, SEC play doesn't get any easier, especially Mississippi State coming to town. So it'll be a great test for him, and hopefully he continues to play well. Real quick though, back to your point though, Curtis, about the announcers. I didn't watch the game live, but I laughed really hard where I was watching the highlights, and I think it was on Brazil's 3 where he just hit the dagger, and the whole time the guy's just like talking about Mark. Mitchell's tired, man. He's out there tired. He's tired. I'm like, doesn't Arkansas have like 3 guys playing 45 minutes?
Yes.
Like what do you mean he's tired? It's like that's the whole thing from that entire sequence of plays. You're just like, he's tired. He's just tired. So I'm glad I didn't hear the broadcast of the whole game, because I just saw your tweets. Let me ask you, did he get it worse, or did Chris Likes get it worse during that Kansas City game? Because I felt like both those broadcasters hated those guys.
Probably Malik Thomas, who, by the way, was just named SEC Freshman of the Week.
Oh, he's trash, garbage. Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. How about that?
Get Leak out of there get A-Cuff out of there for a day, and Malik Thomas gets his time to shine. It's big time. Yeah, he just got announced. Cannon Catchings and Tyler Tanner were the co-players of the week, and both those guys actually wound up having huge weeks. Thought TB might have a shot for that, but
dang.
But Malik Thomas, SEC Freshman of the Week.
Hey, congrats there. So now that's let's see. I was trying to think of all the weekly awards. Is that just 3 different players at Arkansas that's gotten that? Brazil, I think, got SEC Player of the Week, and then Acuff and Thomas. Those only ones? Or?
I think so.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
It kind of feels weird that Billy didn't get something during that little run he just had, but yeah, I don't guess he did.
Yeah, Billy or any of those other guys that may have had a nice stretch of games from then. So, but yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So another little thing we'll get to talk to Malik about tonight at Blue Ember. Hey, you're getting to introduce him as SEC Freshman of the Week, Malik Thomas, tonight at Blue Ember. So, yes, very much so. Very much so. Worst of the weekend for me, this was just a small thing because I know we'll have some other chats, but I don't know, man. It's like, what is Auburn's whole deal of trying to convince everybody that they're like an NCAA tournament team, and then like the Bruce Pearl angle to everything? It just rubs me the wrong way. Like, I get it. You're fighting for your whatever, and it's all great, grand, and wonderful, but it's just kind of falling on deaf ears to me. It just seems so hollow. It's like, surely you don't believe what you're saying. Surely you're not like truly believing that, our resume speaks for itself. It's like, you've been terrible. Like, you've lost a lot of games, and you've looked bad doing
basketball, John. Come on.
Yeah, great. What about the other ones? It's like, I don't know. Again, I know there's like every year there's a team that does this, but between the Bruce Pearl basically just coming out and straight up saying, he's like, yeah, nepotism. Yeah, I'm biased. Yeah, I want this to happen. I don't know. I just feel like it's taken a little bit away from it, and it makes me really, really hope. Sorry, Quinn. Makes me really hope Auburn does not get into the tournament, because that's the type of stuff that just really bothers me. Hey, do what you need to do, but try to live in a reality and try to have some awareness. And to me, that's just one of the most annoying things from the weekend for me.
You're one game over 500, like
Yeah,
never, there's not a single time in history that a team with 16 losses has been selected into the field. And that's what Auburn's going to have unless they win the SEC tournament here, which is not going to happen. They're not playing well. They're not playing hard. They're not playing like a team that even wants to go to the tournament. They've lost 8 out of 10, and you played the toughest strength of schedule in the country, but a majority of those games in the non-conference, they got beat by 30.
Yeah.
So it's, and yes, they got some good wins in there also, but I have no idea what we're talking about. I think the biggest thing about it is, and I feel like we say this every year, but like the bubble it's bad. There are a lot of bad teams that are in consideration to get into the tournament. And so you have to, if you look at everything and you see, okay, the quality wins, and because of that, where some of the metrics are, you can look at Auburn and go, well, I guess they belong in over this team or that team. We're to the point with the bubble, guys, where Oklahoma is back under consideration. They lost 9 in a row. They didn't win a game for more than a month, and they're back in consideration. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, the whole discourse over Auburn is, I don't know, man. I'm kind of over it with those dudes.
Yeah. It's weird.
John, I'm going to do a thing where I'm going to reference. Well, actually, no. We watched this movie together. The three of us. We watched Infinity War together. Where was that? Birmingham?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was for SEC Media Days that we watched it.
Yeah, it was that movie and Top Gun Maverick. I think it's what we watched in Birmingham.
That's right. But when Loki and Thanos are talking, and Loki says, "Hey, I can help you. I've been to Earth. I've got a little bit of experience in that arena." And Thanos goes, "Well, if you consider failure experience, then yeah." And I think about that all the time, where it's like, Auburn, you can't flex the schedule if you lose half the games. It's not really like failing is not necessarily what gets you into the NCAA tournament, unless you're North Carolina last year and if you're Auburn this year, apparently. My worst of the weekend, the BMF title belt in the UFC is dead. And listen, I sat on this very show and I said Charles Oliveira was the right bet, and so I feel good about that. But it has run its course. John, are you familiar with the BMF title, the baddest MFer title? I
was not known about that. No, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to give you a quick – it's not going to take me long, I swear. I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. So there was Nate Diaz was a guy – you know who Nate Diaz is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, so Nate Diaz is an icon, and he's a very popular guy that resonates with the fan base. His record is like 22-13. He's never going to, he was never in contention for an actual title. And so he was like, hey, I'm the baddest MFer though. If anyone wants to beat me, like, let's do it. And so him and Jorge Masvidal, who was at the peak of his powers at the time, did a fight in Madison Square Garden where they were the main event. The Rock put the belt on him, and they made up a belt, BMF. Just someone who represents, maybe you're not a champion, but you're at that, you're a fun guy to watch and the fans get behind you and all that. Over the years, it has now evolved to where guys who are like championship level fighters are now winning the BMF. Like Max Holloway, when he won it, I was like, okay, we're in trouble, because Max Holloway's like a freaking 10-time title fight winner, and he is a BMF, but it's like, that's a little bit, now we're losing the plot a little bit. Well, they have a BMF title fight on Saturday, and it was one of those just fights in the MMA where it's just a grappling, one guy kind of lays on the other, not really any action, not really any striking, not really any blood, and I think they officially broke the BMF title. It's not Charles Oliveira's fault that he went out there and got the job done against Max Holloway. It's the UFC's fault for being lazy and not having a title fight to book and just throwing this random belt into random bouts. It's dead, and I think they should end it. And I'm sad that now Charles Oliveira is getting made fun of. He didn't even speak English. He didn't even know what's going on. He's just here to win a title and dominate Max Holloway, which instead of having like a career-defining performance, it's now like framed poorly for him, and it's just a disaster all around.
So BMF. So how many titles, belts? That's the thing I can't keep up with. Of like what's what?
Which is another problem, because now we're just kind of going down, and I love WWE, but we're going down that path where there's just all these random, the Extreme title, and it's like, okay,
right. It's weird because like there's one for every division, every weight class or whatever, but then they have the BMF, and then it feels like every other division has an interim title because whoever's holding the belt's not fighting, and it is kind of confusing.
John, you gonna tap in for that White House card? They're fighting at the White House on June 14th.
Didn't know that, but sure. Yeah. I mean, it's,
I still don't know if they're going to fight. They claim they're doing it on the White House lawn. I don't believe that to be true. There's no way that's happening. I think it's going to end up being in a room somewhere in the D.C. area, not necessarily at the White House.
Yeah, it should be at the Pentagon, because instead of the octagon, the Pentagon, something like that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, there's my MMA reference for the day, and that's I'll take it. Which, by the way, Curse, did you do your worst, or did I completely miss that?
I don't know if I did. I don't really have a worst, honestly.
Okay.
Maybe Jeremy Fears kicking somebody else in the nuts and Tom Izzo defending him about it.
What is with these people like that just kick people in the nuts? Like, well, I just don't get it.
I don't know. He continues to do it, and Izzo's like, well, I don't know why why is he the story, and why aren't people talking about Yodai Mara for his dude? Fears is a story because he's done it like 10 times this year. It's over and over and over. It's crazy because coming into the season, one of the rules changes was that it's not an auto ejection for kicking somebody in the groin, because last year Texas Tech was playing at Houston and Toppin was like falling out of bounds trying to make a pass, and he kicked a dude in the nuts, and it seemed to be very inadvertent, but that's an automatic ejection. And so they change it to where you can get a flagrant 1 or 2 based on intent and everything like that. And so they wound up not ejecting the kid for it, but like, I just don't even know. You mule kicked him in the sack, man. Like, I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah. Like I don't understand it. What goes to Grayson Allen or whatever that was, I don't know if it was just nut checks or just kicks or trips or whatever, but at some point in time, it's just like, hey, just own it. And that's like, man, again, another reason I don't like Tom Izzo is that crap right there. I don't know why isn't he the story? Because your guy keeps kicking people in the balls. Like, what are you talking about? What do you just say? Want everyone to ignore that? Be like, you know what? Let's forget that stuff. Let's focus on the game and let's look at the rebounding and let's see. No, it's like, well, have the guy stop kicking guys in the groins and it won't be the story.
Exactly.
I feel like it's a simple thing to do. So, either way, a few more chats here before we roll out. Appreciate everybody. Hey, appreciate Washburn Idol. Appreciate actually get you something like that. It says vibes at all-time high today. Excited for tonight's show with Leak after his 30 burger. Don't think I've ever been more ready for a postseason run. Love watching the team play. Shout out for all the great coverage, WPS. So
appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Washburn. Also, super chat from Sharkansall. Our guy Sharkansall. Appreciate you. He says, on topic of Mizzou game announcer, wasn't John Crispin the announcer also at the Texas Tech game where he said Cal was complaining about the incorrect call? Dude just doesn't like Arkansas.
I don't know. I never watched the broadcast of that Texas Tech game, so I'm not sure. But yeah, he was. I don't know. I think sometimes those announcers get a little bit too caught up in the dialogue of the game. They try to portray themselves as ball knowers, like they're very, very, every detail. I would have done this. I would have done that. Why don't you just call the game? Like we'll let the sitting head coaches kind of figure out how to coach their team, and the high level D1 athletes figure out how to play. And yeah, he was annoying. He was very annoying in that game, I thought.
There's another comment coming about the commentating that I look forward to discussing.
Yeah. By the way, I think, Andrew, your mic's kind of like cutting in and out and like sparking a little bit. So if you
keeps telling me that the host has muted my mic.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out if it was my mic or your mic or so. Yeah, sorry. Just want to give you a heads up on that one. Not sure why it's doing it, but at least it's at the end of the show. But either way, let's see. Fats by 21 is now a member. So,
all right.
Fats by 21.
Fats by 21.
Which, by the way, Fats by 21, he wanted to know why Trevin Brazil is not in SEC Player of the Year talks. I have your answer. The SEC Player of the Year is his teammate, Darius Acuff. That is the SEC Player of the Year, and it's going to be hard for Trevin to beat out him, let alone the 10 or 12 other guys that are above him in that conversation.
I hope TB gets like a third team nod or something, though. But yeah, Player of the Year.
No, well, listen, TB is going. It's going to be like that when Hudson Clark got like third team All American in USA Today, and I was like, hey, he got that, and everyone's just like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. It's like, oh, it matters to somebody. Also, Sharkansas. Appreciate it. Goes, Arkansas football deserves playoff berth every year due to their yearly strength of schedule. So I agree with Pearl.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Exactly.
listen, you know, I mean, we got to have the schedule, and that's all that matters, regardless of wins and losses. You just have the toughest schedule, and it all works out. Mrs. Dansvan said, "Welcome back, John. Curtis and Andrew did a wonderful job, but you were greatly missed." Well, I don't know about that, but thank you. As far as the miss part, not Curtis and Andrew doing a great job.
I was like, dang.
But no, thank you. I appreciate it, Mrs. Dansvan. It's good to be back. It's good to be back, and I will say, I'd say I've gotten over my fear of flying, guys, but it was the best I've done, I feel like, this past time. So maybe the 2048 games just locked me in. I don't know, man. It's just,
well, of all the flights to be stressed about, I feel like these going in and out of Mexico probably would have been the ones to stress. So I feel like if you handle this well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because last night, I think the flight from Dallas to XNA is like when you're in the air is supposed to be like 55 minutes or something like that. And I think that's what the pilot said. Well, we were on the tarmac forever too. So we're just sitting there waiting. And he comes on and he's just like, yeah, it's going to be about 44 minutes. And I'm like, you said 55 minutes a second ago. What are you doing? Well, I know what he's doing. That dude hit the gun. Like, I mean, we were bouncing the whole time, but he was flooring it. So we got there, in which I'm also like, okay, dude, it's like 2 a.m. Is 5 minutes, 10 minutes going to make the difference? It's not like we got connection flights at ARC and XNA. So, but yeah, going through customs was stressful. Wasn't sure about that. But actually, real quick, worst of the weekend, I got held up at customs down in Mexico because a dude brought an entire canoe. When I say he brought an entire canoe, he brought an entire canoe. It was in a bag, and he's trying to shove it through the conveyor thing. And I'm just, I don't know. Like, it was an entire canoe, and it got stuck in the. It was just a nightmare. I was like, this is just a great start. But either way, I didn't.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I guess whatever. So, anyways, also Maggie says it was a rough Saturday for me, boys. She is a Missouri fan. Last I checked. Congrats on the dub. I also think it's funny that Hog fans think the broadcast was heavily favored for Missouri, and Missouri fans thinks it was heavily favored for Arkansas.
So, okay. Obviously, this is just part of sports where everybody who's watching a game thinks the officials are screwing their team. They also think the commentators love the other team and hate their team. That is never going to change. And I will say, because I'm sure if I had to guess as to what it was that sent them over the edge, there was a point where I got annoyed. I was watching with Hillary, and I was like, listen, I understand, Darius Acuff, it's a big deal that he's not playing, and obviously he's a stud. Any love he can get. But you can tell they were broadcasting the game planning to talk about Darius Acuff the entire time. And then when he didn't play, they just were like, we're still going to run through with our plans to talk about Darius Acuff. There was a point where I was like, hey, there's other guys, like there's a game happening right now featuring a lot of basketball players. Like, I would like to hear about them. But there was no doubt the commentators were on Malik Thomas's ass. They were, they were very much.
They were heavily critical of Arkansas's play, and they glazed Acuff.
And the thing that I really think happened is they had the story in their mind of how this was a game for Missouri to win against the real NCAA tournament team without their best player. That's what they thought was going to happen, which isn't a crime. But they never deviated from that story. They just kept talking about what an opportunity this is for Missouri without acknowledging, hey, there's an Arkansas team over there that's playing shorthanded and they're freaking balling and playing like their hair's on fire. Oh, and they're winning the damn game. It was a tough time. And I think anyone who watched the game 50-50, I don't think there would be any debate about which team they favored more than the other.
Listen, it sounded like it was just an 11 a.m. classic type of broadcast group up there at Missouri. But I don't know. I can't say anything. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not a play-by-play or color commentator or anything. And there's a lot of them I like, and there's a lot of them I respect. And it's not, so many games. Sometimes you just got to get the people out there. But sometimes I'm just like, man, who are these people and where are they getting them from? It's like, you can't, because I feel like Arkansas was like Brett Dolan and like Joe Klein, something like that.
Sure.
And like, it's fine. Hey, whatever. It's like, but Missouri's like, you don't have a former great player around like that you could throw in there or something. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. And it was really the stuff being critical of Leak. I thought was weird. Like, he made it was a pretty high level. It was a pro level move. Shot faked the guy out of his shoes, sidestep, knocked down a three, and he was like, "Oh, we got to do inside step. All the footwork's just not where." And she's like, "Dude, that's a hell of a shot. Shut up." It's a little bit annoying, but then like T.O. Barrett's one of the better perimeter defenders in the conference, and he gets him on his hip, finishes a runner, banks it in over him, and he's just like, that's fool's gold. That kind of shot is fool's gold. And then he hits a three in somebody's eye, and it's like, well, that's just not sustainable. And he kept being shit about, Arkansas is chasing the game right now. I'm like, my brother in Christ, they're winning. What are you talking about? They're chasing the game. One team's having to work really hard. One team's not. And he was doing this the entire time. And I'm just like, what's happened? But where it really got me, because I was thinking, in my mind, I was like, okay, let me step outside the box here. Maybe I'm just clinging on to what he's saying about Arkansas, because naturally that would irritate me. But and there was some ticky-tack fouls called, and it was on both sides, and certainly Mark Mitchell was getting the benefit of that too. But DJ had a play where a foul was whistled. He was driving, somebody fouled him, whatever. I don't know if it was a good call or not. Probably not. But that dude lost it like the guy in that Oklahoma State, that Stillwater Regional did. The foul gets called, and he goes, oh, no, a bailout. And just he completely lost character and objectivity at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, was it the LSU game that we were watching? I think it was at Go Lab when the guy was like, they cut it. Midway through the first half, and they cut it from a 14-point game to a 12-point game. It's like, hey, we got ourselves a game now, boys. It's like, well, yeah, just make up stuff. You talk, just make up stuff. So, well, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for today?
See y'all tonight. Really, really looking forward to that. Appreciate those guys for doing this. I mean, it's a very tricky time for everybody, and for them to be able to make it work, and for us to be able to get this going. We're really excited about it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in for that. And I have a feeling Andrew has an update that he needs to provide.
I mean, Arkansas is down 6-3 now, going to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's not really that. Well, I'll obviously do the bombastic recap of whatever happens, but I don't really think it's going to be that bad of a situation. I think Arkansas is probably going to win the game. If I had to guess, if they don't, I'll be sad, and then we will talk about it on the Bombastic podcast. You guys can yell at me about it, but I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm excited. If you can't get there in person, we won't hold it against you. Just join us for the live stream, and if you are going to be there in person, bring the energy, bring the love, bring some questions for the players. I'm excited to talk with them, excited to see everybody, excited to eat barbecue, and we're going to continue. This is like our fourth Woo Pig week in a row.
Yeah,
keep it rolling. Every week's a Woo Pig week when you're a hog, man. So I'm excited and looking forward to seeing you boys in real life tonight.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. Again, 1723 Pleasant Grove Road up in Rogers, Blue Ember Smokehouse. It's going to be a Pot at the Palace live event starting at 7 p.m. with the live stream, as well as a hangout with Malik Thomas and Amir Brown. So really looking forward to that, hanging out. It's going to be awesome. And the only final thought I have is just something here from Hayden, as he says, John goes to Mexico for a week and not one comment about his tan. We are maturing, folks. Jose said, John, you're so tan that you're unrecognizable. So, not one comment, but just the one comment. But yes, appreciate it. No, it's good to be back. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate Curtis and Andrew stepping up and doing the extra content. It's always great to get everybody excited for this time of year, and we got a lot coming up, not just tonight, but this week. It's postseason basketball, baby. We got baseball in the middle of things. Spring football practice starting up, so keep it right here at Inside Arkansas, and subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as follow all of our podcasts wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pot at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, or the Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you tonight at Blue Ember Smokehouse for Pot at the Palace Live.